Alright, hello everyone, it's Teamrocketdraws here with another Pokemon drawing tutorial. And for this video guys, I'm doing another of your requests. We're gonna be drawing Breloom. So as you guys can see on screen, this is how he ends up looking like. So if you guys want to learn how to draw him, then let's get started. I'm also gonna put up a reference right now on screen, that way it's easier for you guys to draw, and at the same time you guys will get all your details. Just keep in mind guys, not to press too hard on your pencil, that way we could erase some of the lines, and he's not gonna end up looking like the reference 100%, but we do end up getting pretty close. So first of all, we're gonna start by doing this line at this angle guys, and then just basically making an oval shape. That line should basically be in the middle. That's basically gonna be the inside of his head, like since his head is like a mushroom. And now we're gonna do this line under that, which is gonna be like the green part that you can still see on the other side. And now we're gonna do the top. So basically it should be from that middle line to the edge. So we could just basically do a gap around there and just basically connect it with the other lines. So his head is more of a like rounder shape than I have it here, since it is a mushroom. And I make my mistake of doing the top like more bigger than it should, because if you guys notice, it's pretty close to the actual like oval shape that we did at the beginning, and right here on mine I go a little bit bigger right there at the top. So that's something that I changed. So if you guys want to make it just like the reference, it should start out thin, and in the middle just basically be like the thick part. Alright guys, so now that we have that, we're gonna do this line, another one on this side, which is basically gonna be his neck. And now we could just connect them real quick. If you guys notice, the right one's a little bit higher. And now we're just gonna continue that shape a little bit more around there, curving, and then it's just gonna go straight down like this. And now that we have that, we're basically gonna curve it with this line right here, the neck. And it's almost a straight line going down. It doesn't curve that much, and then it just goes inside to the other line and it connects. It might take you guys a couple tries just to do this. Just one of those weird shapes that's really hard to explain, so just try your best. And there we go guys. So as long as you guys get a similar shape to the ones that we have here, then it's gonna be easy. So now we're gonna continue this side of the neck and just basically round it off at the top, and just leave a gap between that and the oval shape around here, and just basically do a straight line going to the right, and then just curve it back up around there, a little bit higher than that middle line, and that's gonna be his nose. And then a little bit higher where we started the nose, we're gonna do this oval shape for the eye. There we go. So hopefully now that you guys are able to see his head, and then he has like this line right there for the bottom of his face, so you guys can just do it. Alright, so now we're gonna do basically this reference line just to help us do the tail, or how high to do it. So basically we're gonna follow this shape right here for the body, and just basically follow it through to for the tail, and then just curve it back up to that reference line that we did. And right here at the point of the tail is pretty thin, and it just starts getting wider as it gets closer to the body. I might have done it a little bit too small, so you guys might want to make it a little bit bigger where it connects to the body. Alright, so now we're gonna do this reference line going down the middle of the actual shape that we did for the body right there. And now we're gonna do his left leg. So this one sticks out, it goes over the tail a little bit, and it starts around here on the right side, and it just makes this like chicken leg shape. If you guys look at it, you guys might see what I'm talking about, this weird shape. And just go straight down like this around here. This one curves a little bit to the right, and we could just basically connect them. So this actually is my second time drawing Breloom. The first time I didn't like how I ended up coloring him, so I ended up doing him twice. So both times the legs were the ones that were more tricky for me. Now for this foot, and then right here it just curves in and then it just comes back out for the side of his leg. And if you guys notice, it basically meets up with that middle line that we did, so both legs should line up. There we go. Yeah, so the legs were the most tricky, especially the left one. Just getting the shape right, just it's a little bit challenging. All right, so now about in the middle of this part of his mushroom head, we're gonna do this line, and then we're just basically gonna curve it and make this shape right here. And then I just basically curve the bottom line too, so it's not a straight line. And that's gonna be our, what is that? I don't know what it is. It's like a smaller shroom or something. Alright, so now for the tail, this is basically gonna do a circle, and this should be basically the same size as the shape we did right now for the top of his head. And now he does have 4 of them, so we could do this one on the right side and one on the left side, and these should be basically the same size, although a little bit smaller. You guys could do them the same size. And now we can barely see one in the back, so we could just basically connect it right there. Alright, so now we're gonna do the claws, the toes, and for that we're just gonna make these triangle shapes without doing the bottom part. Same thing on this side. If you guys notice, this one lines up right in the middle of his the right side of his foot, and now we're gonna do right in the middle this line, which basically gives us like this arrow shape. They're basically like arrows pointing up. On this side we could actually see the whole claw toenail, so we're gonna start it. And if you guys notice, it doesn't go all the way to the top, and then right here we're gonna do the other one, sticks out right here. There we go, guys. So you guys could look at the reference just to get a better idea of how it should look like. Alright, so now for his hand claws, we're gonna start by doing this like T shape with the top being a little bit curved, and then we can just connect them to the edges. It's not perfect. I did mine a little bit more triangle than the reference has it, but it's still okay. The same thing on this side, do the T shape and then just basically connect it to the edges. So right there it covers part of his leg. There we go. I might have made mine a little bit smaller, but like I said, it's alright, doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, so now for this part right here, we're just gonna do the circle just to finish off that shape. And if you guys notice, it's right on that, depending where you guys have it. And then I do the white highlight on his side just to make him look a little bit better. And now we can start adding those details under his mushroom. So he does have these lines just to give it that mushroom look. So he has 3 around there, 1 there, and just curve it right, just give it the right curve. Look at the reference just to get a better idea. And now we're gonna do these smaller ones and just try to space them out evenly. I added 4, 1 2 1 2 3 4. He does have 4 right there, so it worked out fine, but it's not something that has to be perfect. So now that we have that, guys, we can start erasing some of these reference lines just so they won't get in the way, and it just basically cleans up our sketch a little bit more. So just start in the face, and I would look at the reference just to get a better idea of what lines are actually on the drawing. Right there I didn't like the shape of the face right there where it connects, so I basically just change it up how I had it before. The nose right here. Now for the bottom, so like I said before, the top of his head, or the mushroom that is, it's not the right shape as the reference. On the reference it starts out thin on the sides, and then in the middle is the thickest part. On mine, on the left side, on the bottom, basically behind his head, it's actually thinner and it follows like the reference, but once it gets to the top, like to the front, it's the same. It's like a sombrero, you know what I mean? So basically the back and the front should start out the same thing, and then the middle should be thicker. That's something that I didn't do, so you guys might want to change that now. Alright, so now for his collar, I'm gonna start doing one right there and another one right here, which goes a little bit over his claw. So this one goes up to that line, guys, that we did earlier. It just fixed perfect, so we could just do it up to that line. And then this one goes pretty close to the other one. Just try to make these three because it kind of like petals, guys. Like when I was doing this, it reminded me of petals. So just try to do those three petals the same size, like that way it won't look too weird. And now we got another one right here, and then this one we're just gonna follow it through and continue it to the other side, because it should line up on the other side. So we could just follow it through and once again just connect it here. So we do that line going over the neck just to make sure that it lines up and it doesn't look weird, because if it doesn't line up, it's just gonna look a little bit awkward, guys, and it's just gonna throw the drawing off a little bit. So now we could just erase those lines. We don't need them no more. There we go, and just go over, and the bottom of the petals should be round. On the last one that I did is kind of pointy, so you guys might want to round them off a little bit more than I do. I do change that later on. Once I do my final drawing, I do round them off. And right here I'm just erasing those reference lines that we have on the leg and on the body. I kind of erased this claw, so I redraw it. And just by erasing some of those lines and just basically having it like this, a little bit cleaner, it just starts looking like Breloom. I wasn't 100% close to the reference, but I think we're close enough, guys. Hopefully you guys could do a better job than I did. And right there I just erased some of those reference lines on the bottom claws. And now we could just connect these arrows like I said before. I don't know if you guys see the arrows too, and just curve them, connect them. Same thing on this side. The right side is more round than the left. The left is more of a straight line. Another thing is just try to have those bottom claws the same size on either leg, or like not the same size, but just keep them like even, you know, like right here, round it off a little bit. And these don't have that middle line going down the claw like the hands do, so I erased that line. That was just to help us do it. But like just have those claws like at the bottom on his feet, like just almost the same size, you know, like that way one on one leg they're not way bigger than the one on the other leg, and that way it doesn't throw off the whole drawing. So now we're basically done, guys. Now just go over your drawing and just make any changes. If something doesn't look right, go ahead and change it. Like I said before, one of those changes that I do make is on the petals around his neck. Basically I just round them off. But that's about it, guys. I don't make that many changes. Something that I wish I would have changed was, like I said before, the front of his head, like the top mushroom part, the green part that is. Once on top of him, like right on top of his nose, the green part, if you guys look at the reference, is pretty thin. And on mine, it's wider, like right there at the front. So that's one of those things I would have changed if I could go back. But it's still okay, you know. It's not like the reference, but it still looks like Breloom, so that's what counts. So basically we're done, guys, and this is my final outline. Like I said, I did go back and I changed it. I worked a little bit on the top, like green part of his head, like the mushroom shape. I worked on it a little bit, even though I didn't make that change, but it still looks a little bit better. Also the petals, like I said, around his neck, I rounded them off a little bit, and basically just worked on the shape overall. I didn't make that many changes. It still looks like the sketch that we did, but I did make some minor changes that in the end made it look a little bit better. So you guys could either follow my outline right here, you guys could look at the reference. That's why it's up there. I recommend using the reference just because that's how it should look like, and mine it's pretty close, but it's not perfect, you know, and it's alright if it's not perfect, guys. If there's something that you guys could change on your drawing, then go ahead. You know, it doesn't have to look like mine, and it doesn't have to look like the reference. If you guys could add or change anything on your drawing, then go ahead. If it makes it better, go ahead. And then the first time I ended up using my Copic markers, but in the end the color started to bleed out onto other areas. For example, on the green area started to bleed out on the like light brown skin color, and it just threw off the drawing completely. So like I said before, I had to do the tutorial again and basically draw him again, and this time I used my color pencils. Although it's a lot lighter, you know, it's a lot faded out, but it's still okay, you know. It's something that you guys might like, something similar to something that you guys might do if you guys use color pencils as well. Unless you guys are like really good at using your color pencils, so probably you guys could do a better job than me, but I don't use color pencils that much. And yeah guys, the only thing I did use for my color pencils is just I try to use more than one tone just to give it those highlights and shadows on the green areas. Maybe if I would have gone a little bit darker, I didn't press that hard on the color pencil, I went pretty light. But maybe just doing it a little bit harder would have made it look a little bit better. But I used two different greens. I don't know if you guys were able to see on the video, but there's like some spots. Basically I just use the reference, guys, just use the reference, you know. And then the same thing for the light brown. Since it's more of a light brown, those are the closest ones I had, so those are the ones that I used. Although on the reference it's a little bit lighter, you know, more white than brown, but it was what I had, you know, so I think it came out okay. For the pink and all that, just use like a dark pink and like this faded red, and just basically try to do that. And then I ended up outlining it in pen, a black pen, but it wasn't dark enough. Like I didn't like how the way it came out, so I ended up outlining it with the marker, which is what you guys see now. But overall I think it came out okay, guys. It's a little bit lighter, like since I did use my color pencils, but the Copics, they were just bleeding out too much. I was going over some of the areas too much where I was trying to blend them, and they just went on the like light skin colored parts, and it just threw off the whole drawing, and I couldn't fix it. I used a gel pen just to erase like those parts, and then I waited for it to dry, and then I went over it with the marker, but it didn't cover it completely. It was still there, and it just I wasn't happy with it, guys. And if I'm not completely happy with it, like I'm not okay with it, then I'm not gonna show it. So this was basically the best that I could do with coloring him. But remember this, guys, I'm not good at coloring. This is a drawing tutorial, not a coloring tutorial. So hopefully you guys found the tutorial helpful. Let me know in the comment section if you guys did end up drawing Breloom. Let me know in the comment section how he turned out, and remember that you guys could always send in your drawings to be featured at the beginning of my videos, just like the ones you saw at the beginning of this one. The links will be in the description to my Twitter and my email. So I just want to thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, and if you guys got this far, and I just want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Team Rocket Draws out.